The purpose of the study was to review that area or municipality and to review a whole series of things with the ultimate goal to determine how East Windsor could best position itself to take advantage of those major transportation improvements to maximize and enhance our position in attracting high-quality, high-value commercial development to our community.
My name is Scott Taylor. I'm president of Taylor Design Group. We're a planning and landscape architecture firm out of Mount Laurel, New Jersey. We represent primarily municipalities and public entities throughout the state of New Jersey. With me tonight also is Jim Hess from AECOM. AECOM prepared the traffic and real estate analyses that were part of the project as a subconsultant to our firm. So, as all of you are aware, I will go a little bit back through the history, get us up to speed, and then some of the changes and what some of the final recommendations have been of the plan. The project status currently is public meetings were held in February 2014 relative to the draft findings, the concept plans, and the recommendations. The concepts were finalized based on those comments. Traffic conditions were assessed, including proposed concept plans. Recommendations were crafted for zoning ordinance amendments to implement new planning within the area. And final recommendations have been brought to the public for presentation and comment. There are two things that I should probably say now before we even get into the project. There is no development proposed in conjunction with this project. This is simply a planning study. Much like a municipal master plan, this lays out a potential framework of uses and zoning modifications that the subcommittee feels were appropriate based on the given information. So there are no actual projects. For the process to move forward, for any project to actually be built, similar to anything within the municipality, once there is agreement that some of the changes of this plan should be effectuated, then it would be up to the governing body to draft changes to the zoning ordinance, the land development regulations. Those regulations then get referred to the planning board and back to the governing body for adoption. So this, while it has been an extensive planning project and study, this is one of several steps before anything would actually get constructed. There are public meetings and public hearings at every step along the way. Once those ordinances could potentially be updated, then a prospective developer who owns property or who is looking to prospectively purchase property can look at that new zoning and move forward with an assurance that his proposals are in line with the municipal land development regulations. The last step in that process is when they submit to the planning board, there is also public notice and public hearings of any development application. So this is just that first step, the planning portion of the project, and what those recommendations and what the subcommittee believe to be appropriate use, long-term modifications for the area. As a refresher, the purpose was to assess the land use impacts of the Turnpike Interchange 8 East Windsor Interchange Reconstruction Project, to identify the potential redevelopment and development opportunities in the area resulting from the project. And when we use the term redevelopment, we do not mean redevelopment under the local housing and redevelopment law. This is simply a planning study. We simply mean reuse or redevelopment of potentially an existing developed site. We're also identifying improvements needed to the transportation system to facilitate and enhance the prospects for commercial development in the area, identify any needed changes to the township master plan, zoning ordinance, and land development regulations. This assessment also provides the township with a blueprint for leveraging the Turnpike project into economic development opportunities that will benefit not only the township, the surrounding municipalities, and the region as a whole. The project location, obviously you've all lived this over the last several years. The area roadways are the New Jersey Turnpike, the new realigned ramps and toll area. This is Milford Road, Wyckoff Mills, Probasco, Route 33 and Route 133. There are several signalized intersections that have been identified through the study. As the mayor indicated, a 25-mile section of the turnpike from interchanges 6 to 9 were expanded to 6 lanes in each direction. Relocation of the East Windsor Interchange 8 toll plaza occurred east of the turnpike main line. Direct connection to Route 133 by grade separating the existing 33-133 signalized intersection in this location. There was also a realignment of Milford Road in this location. In terms of the turnpike widening project, the Turnpike Authority may dispose of some of the surplus lands not needed for the project, such as the discontinued ramp area on Route 33, a portion of the maintenance yard on Route 33, and there are also some smaller potential sites that after the full right-of-way is realized, there may be an opportunity there. The existing land use overview, the commercial, and we have the acreages from the study. The commercial land uses are identified in red. The industrial land uses are shown in dark purple. Vacant lands are shown in green. Residential are yellow, although on this background it's not showing up quite as yellow. Institutional, such as schools, libraries, daycare, etc., is shown in this pinkish hue. And the total is about 327 acres for the entire agricultural farm in the green also. Some of the Monmouth Street hotels, just for project reference and identification, the Days Inn, as well as the Quality Inn and the Townhouse Motel site on Route 33. The former Elementis site and Innovative Logistics on Wyckoff Mills Road, as well as the Allstate Transport Warehouse and the Regency at East Windsor site to the right, located on Probasco Road. Conair and DHL on Milford Road are on the top, as well as farmland in the 2 images on the bottom along Milford Road. So the existing land uses and ownership. There are currently 3 hotels and 2 motels in the Route 33 Monmouth Street area, including Holiday Inn. I have a bad angle here. Including the Holiday Inn site, Days Inn, the former Mom's Peppermill site, which is currently closed and listed for sale for restaurants. No retail uses are in the immediate area, although there are a number of retail uses a short distance to the east on Route 33. There's a limited number of office use in the area also. There are some within the Holiday Inn site. Warehouse currently exists on the Conair and DHL sites on Milford Road, and some other warehouse industrial uses on Probasco Road. The former lab buildings also exist on Wyckoff Mills Road, and the existing, and this is an important item and something that was raised in question in the February hearing, the existing residential neighborhoods that exist within the project area are proposed to remain as is. There are recommendations further in the study to ensure that those uses and the zoning support reinvestment in those properties so that they would be conforming parcels and conforming uses within the zones. So there are no changes proposed to any of the residential neighborhoods in conjunction with this project. There are currently 5 zoning districts located in the study area. They are the age-restricted housing zone, which permits 3 dwelling units per acre of gross land. The Toll Brothers, the Regency Woods project was approved at 209 units under an age-restricted conversion law, which has since expired. The TC, or Turnpike Commercial Zone, is shown in red. The permitted uses are relatively limited in this zone. Currently, it's hotels and motels, service stations, restaurants, childcare centers, and office buildings as a conditional use, which means it is only permitted if certain conditions as spelled out in the ordinance are met. Otherwise, it cannot be located in that zone. The RO, IO, and PUD 8 zones, the permitted uses are relatively similar to each other, primarily warehouse and research related. Hotels and assisted living facilities are permitted conditionally only in the RO zone, and that is the research office zone. The IO is the industrial office zone, and PUD is a planned unit development zone. The permitted uses include childcare centers, manufacturing, processing, and fabricating, science and research labs, warehousing, computer centers, pharmaceutical operations, office buildings, commuter parking, agriculture, and horticultural uses. And you can see those are the RO, IO in the blue color, and the PUD 8 further east. Part of the project did an inventory of approved developments in the area. We wanted to analyze what the existing conditions were, but also knowing that this study was conducted during a very weak, coming out of a weak economic downturn and a significant recession that began some 6-7 years ago. In East Windsor, Conair Corporation was approved for 474,000 square feet of warehouse across Milford Road from the existing Conair warehouse. Regency Woods project, as we mentioned before, 209 residential units at the corner of Probasco and Wyckoff Mills. Again, converted from age-restricted units under prior state legislation. 38 acres will be dedicated to the township as open space as part of that project, but that will no longer be age-restricted, but was intended or was converted for family units. Woodside Corner is an approved retail center on the southwest corner of 33 and Woodside Ave, approximately 8,000 square foot child care center and 2 4,500 square foot restaurants. East Windsor Business Park, approved 5 lots plus open space. The promenade at East Windsor, across from Route 33, CVS, identified the Galleria improvements as well. Monroe Township has also approved a number of projects in the Route 33 corridor, which may also influence the commercial market and traffic in the area. We've identified those, some retail strips, big box centers, a quick check and gasoline at the northwest corner of 33 and Applegarth, and approximately 150 miscellaneous new residential units in the vicinity, both north and south of Route 33. So the development opportunities for this project area are significant. The close proximity, obviously, to the New Jersey Turnpike East Windsor Interchange 8, as well as routes 133 and 33 are significant. The strategic location of this interchange and the project study area within central New Jersey is of tremendous value. Obviously, the close proximity to the major markets of both Philadelphia and New York City, with East Windsor being very central to both of those with fantastic highway access. The presence of major businesses and hotel franchises already in the township and in the immediate area. The proximity to existing businesses, industrial parks, and the strong residential neighborhoods of the township. The proximity to the East Windsor Town Center, the Route 130 corridor, restaurants and shopping. There is also considerable acreage of vacant land, available buildings and land. The location in an area where the state allows public sewer system infrastructure improvements. There is existing infrastructure in a majority of the areas in terms of roads and sewer, potential greenway and open space connections, and also the project is within the Mercer County Foreign Trade Zone program area, as is the entire county now. So some of the development challenges, the last that we just talked about were all of those opportunities and the benefits, and the second prong of that are the challenges. There are significant environmental constraints on some of the properties in the area. Obviously, we have 2 streams that come through the area, and there are associated wetlands habitats associated with them. This is taken from the New Jersey GIS, the NJTpke GIS mapping. It is valuable as a planning tool. It does not necessarily represent exactly where the freshwater wetlands are, but it's good as a planning tool to help guide policymakers and planners of what areas may be environmentally sensitive, what areas may be fringe, and those which may not have many freshwater wetlands or other limitations. So as you can see by this blue hatching pattern, there are, as long as my battery holds up, there are significant corridors of wetlands in the project area. There are also development constraints related to the Colonial Pipeline and PSE&G. This is the PSE&G easement and the Colonial Pipeline that traverse the area. There's also a lack of installed sewerage infrastructure on Wyckoff Mills Road. There's a lack of highway visibility for 2 of the hotel sites that are on Monmouth Street. There's a lack of wayfinding signage to the hotels, which is very important when you have a turnpike interchange and a lot of volume, and you're going to have a lot of transient traffic. People want to be able to get off, very easily get to restaurants, hotels, etc., because they may be on a longer trip. So that wayfinding, while it may not be quite as important for local consumers who know where businesses are, it's very important to try to capitalize on that dollar of people coming off of the turnpike. Also, the close proximity of residential uses, which requires sensitivity of impacts, is another constraint that needs to be looked at to try to create that balance of providing economic development opportunities in the area while still being conscious of those existing residential areas, trying to minimize noise impacts, aesthetics, traffic, etc. I'm going to touch on some of the real estate market findings that we went through, and there is obviously tremendous buying power in the area. Over 123,000 people live within 7 miles of the study area. That's projected to increase to over 127,000 by the year 2017. The median household income within 7 miles is $94,000, and that is projected to increase to $103,000 by 2017. We can all hope, right? Which looks like a nice increase. We identified the population characteristics for both the 5 and 7 mile radiuses for the population based on 2000, 2012, and projected for 2017. For population, median household income, median home value, $315,790 in 2012 in the 5 mile radius, and $348,500 projected for 2017. For the 7 mile, it is slightly higher at $363,000 for the median home value, and projected to be $407,000 in 2017. The percentage of vacant units as of 2012 for housing units was 6.3 and 5.7 for the 7 mile radius. Some of the real estate market findings are, and they're much in much greater detail with backup data in the study itself. We wanted to touch on some of the key bullets. Travel times to key markets continue to drop as the turnpike widening project is completed. People get used to the new patterns and they realize the benefits of the shorter time factors associated with using that. This is a key factor in the location of warehouse and light manufacturing uses and is also important to office uses. The area will become even more attractive to industrial, office, warehouse, hospitality, and small-scale support retail users. particularly as the widening project and development and the strength of the non-residential and residential market increases, that as we continue to come out of the economic downturn of the last 8 years, that will rebound. The industrial, office, hospitality, and retail markets are all improving within the market area. Vacancies are declining, and as that existing space is leased out, there will be a demand for new space. And that's one of the reasons for this study, to be ahead of the curve, determine what zoning is appropriate, what densities are appropriate, as development pressure will ultimately come back in to guide those appropriate uses in the particular areas. The planning and design objectives that were identified by the subcommittee for the area include a desire to make the projects a win-win for the township, property owners, and the residents, promote greater utilization of commercial sites while protecting the environment and providing adequate light, air, and open space and free flow of traffic, minimizing commercial impacts on adjacent residential properties, enhancing the presence of hotels, create a sense of place through pedestrian scale lighting, streetscape amenities, including sidewalks, create wayfinding signage, and incorporate green or sustainable elements into building and site design. So how do we make that happen? We talked a little bit about this at the outset of the presentation. These steps are set forth in the study report itself. It would require amendment to the local zoning ordinance to create a greater variety of permitted uses and to encourage attractive design and environmental sustainability. Also work to encourage partnerships between private property owners and with the Turnpike Authority to maximize the development potential of various sites within the study area. Also to design and install an effective wayfinding signage system to facilitate circulation, improve aesthetics, and create a sense of identity and place for the study. Work with NJDOT to create and fund streetscape improvements along Route 33, again, to define this as a node, create a strong sense of place and a unique identity for East Windsor Township in the area of Interchange 8. So there were several areas within the project that we identified where there are potential projects and zoning modifications. The Turnpike commercial area is shown here in green. Again, Wyckoff Mills, Monmouth Street, Milford Road. The zoning recommendations would be to expand the TC zone permitted uses to include general, professional, and medical office, financial institutions, technical and professional schools, training and conference centers. And these are uses that are not currently permitted within that zoning district. So we're looking to capitalize on the presence, get a stronger sense of use there. Assisted living facilities, indoor and outdoor recreation, limited retail and business services. Also permit the existing residential uses so that they aren't considered non-conforming uses that we talked a little bit about at the onset. Also to prohibit gasoline service station and public transportation passenger facilities within that main Turnpike commercial area core. Now, one of the concepts that was developed was, and we developed concept plans for a few key parcels to illustrate the types of development that could potentially occur on those lots. These are not necessarily development proposals, but it illustrates the type of thing that could happen under the recommended zoning modifications that were identified by the subcommittee and are illustrated in the plan. To encourage partnering between the Turnpike Authority and private property owners to redevelop excess portions of the Turnpike right-of-way. On the north side of Route 33, and this is Monmouth Street to the top here, in the former Turnpike ramp area, the Quality Inn and the Townhouse Motel site could be redesigned for traveler-related uses such as an extended stay hotel with restaurant. This site could yield approximately 400 hotel rooms and 3 restaurant pads. The Turnpike Commercial, this area is directly to the south, utilizing a portion of the Turnpike Authority south side frontage for Route 33, potentially for private development, leaving the existing maintenance and parking areas intact. It is recommended to rezone this area from research office to Turnpike Commercial to provide more opportunity for smaller scale uses. This site could provide approximately 100,000 square feet of office space, as well as some pad sites such as a coffee shop, small bank, and other similar uses. We're showing those coming in, office, smaller shops along the road frontage. The Turnpike Commercial concept number 3. This encourages some partnering between 2 private property owners. The Hampton Inn site could be expanded to 100 rooms and a restaurant added to that site. Greater visibility could be achieved through pedestrian connection from the former Mom's Pepper Mill site. Liquor licenses could be available if that was increased to a 100-unit hotel under state statute. That would provide better use through synergy of 2 sites where particularly the Mom's Pepper Mill site has access issues and land area issues, but there might be some opportunities there for a combination to improve visibility and a better overall concept. Across the highway is the approved Woodside Corner project. For the Turnpike Gateway area, this is really a key location in the PUD 8 zone, just off the new interchange ramp to Milford Road. There will be very strong visibility of this site from both the exit ramp and also from the main line of the Turnpike. So it presents a significant development opportunity for visibility. A 24-acre, approximately, comprised of several separate lots of agricultural lands could host a prominent use such as a hotel office tower, which could be attractive as a regional headquarters. Because the lots are owned by several property owners, assembly would be required and encouraged to create one more iconic development parcel. And on the next slide, we've actually shown a concept of this. And coming in, and we're showing a 10-story building, potentially with 100-room hotel, 220-seat restaurant, and approximately 210,000 square feet of office with associated parking. We're also showing another 45,000 square foot office pad site out in front of that site. This is Milford Road, directly to the west of this site. Lake Drive is shown further to the east. This could be a national destination or resort hotel franchise, such as a Marriott Westin, with at least 100 rooms, again, which would then offer the opportunity for a liquor license, as well as the potential for Class A office space and conference center. Accessory uses could also include a park and ride, a spa, salon, and accessory retail. In the Commerce Park area, we're suggesting through the subcommittee that the RO zone be modified to permit hotels and motels, indoor and outdoor recreation uses, garden centers, technical and professional schools, financial institutions, training and conference centers. There's also a recommendation to improve the Wyckoff Mills Road infrastructure, including water and sewer, to attract new development as well as tenants for existing buildings, and suggesting potential partnering with property owners through the development process to establish a greenway conservation easement the length of the Millstone River, which is shown to the top of the study area. the intersection of Wyckoff Mills and Probasco, the idea was a potential reimagining of the Regency Woods project as a mixed-use active adult project that would incorporate non-residential development for additional tax ratables. We're suggesting amending the zoning ordinance to permit the mixed use and the active adult with office, restaurants, small-scale retail, financial institutions, and technical schools. Creating appropriate buffers to existing residential units, as well as appropriate buffers between any non-residential uses and proposed residential uses. And again, maintaining appropriate greenway conservation easements along the Millstone River. The industry opportunity area is located only east of the Turnpike in the southern portion, southeastern portion of the project area. It's suggested to be amended for the zoning, the permitted use of the zoning, to allow indoor and outdoor recreation uses and fitness, technical and professional schools, training and conference centers, garden centers, financial institutions. Also, the more favorable lot area and lot coverage standards of the PUD 8 zoning districts should be adopted for this area to stimulate development in that portion. And also to work with property owners to establish a greenway conservation easement the length of Rocky Brook. The big question is, can the roads handle more development? Part of the study, as we indicated, AECOM undertook studies of the Turnpike Authority information, and there were circulation findings in the study with considerable backup information. The toll plaza relocation has made land parcels in the area more readily accessible, greater freer flow of vehicles. It was also noted that the direct connection between the Turnpike and Route 133 has removed a number of turning movements at the intersection, improving traffic flow in that area. Turning movements are easier to make and travel times have been decreased. An elimination of the merge between interchange 8 and 8A will improve travel times in the area. And the last one is bold because and we can talk a little bit more, and I'm sure you'll have some questions about this, but the studies did find that the existing infrastructure in the area is sufficient to meet both the current needs as well as those of some of the development scenarios that were contemplated in the study, as well as the zoning modifications that were presented in the study. Presumably the Turnpike Authority, from what we've been able to determine, had anticipated significant growth within the area in the future, as we would hope they would, and that the infrastructure of those surrounding roadways will accommodate, as well as their improvements, the growth that is anticipated. Further major improvements are unlikely to be necessary to accommodate potential development, although a traffic signal may be warranted to the west of the Turnpike if the Turnpike right-of-way parcels are converted into commercial land. And that was part of the TC project, where the Quality Inn and Townhouse Motel project is in that location. If that were to come to fruition and the Turnpike would dispose of some of its prior or some of its land, and that project moved forward, there could be a need for signalization in that location. The current width of Route 33 can accommodate modifications to the striping if intersections require any fine-tuning to facilitate freer flow of traffic. Wayfinding signage and streetscapes. We touched on this a couple times. Design and install a wayfinding system for the entrances to the township and local destinations, including hotels, restaurants, and shopping. This will create a sense of identity and then again identify and direct the motoring public to various types of uses, particularly those for transient use. Signage orients visitors to amenities in the area. It promotes economic development, it facilitates the travel, and it improves community signage. One of the things it also does is it keeps people in and around the study area. The better people can be directed to those facilities immediately around the Turnpike interchange, the less likely they are to have to drive considerable distances outside of the study area and potentially into and creating additional turnaround movements. In terms of streetscape enhancements create a welcoming environment, such as a sense of place. They provide traffic calming and improve safety. The plan suggests partnering with DOT and the Turnpike Authority to design and build streetscape improvements and wayfinding on the Turnpike exit ramps and Route 33. Potential funding sources could include the Turnpike Authority, the Community Development Block Grant monies, NJTpke grant funds, and hopefully the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission, again, who funded this study. Part of the thoughts in here, you can see that Turnpike commercial concept area. We're suggesting streetscape improvements along Route 33. We're showing a cross-section of potential improvements in this location, providing lower level pedestrian lighting, trying to get bicycle paths or sidewalks with shade trees as to create interconnectivity, because people do currently ride their bikes and walk along those areas, and to provide safe access will be important long term. Also, the introduction of shade trees, aside from the environmental benefits, it will have some traffic calming event to try to slow people down, and it will also reinforce that sense of place and sense of identity to make this an attractive node within East Windsor Township. Some of the design and sustainability elements were recommended for amending the zoning ordinance to encourage developers to design better sites, creates a more attractive visual environment. It can add value to the area and improve the environment. Some recommended improvements included charging stations, the use of native plants, small wind energy systems, porous paving, bike shelters, full cutoff light fixtures, and potentially vegetated swales, rain gardens, as well as parking lot solar canopies.
I want to thank Tower Design for the presentation and for the great partnership we had during the development of the study and the many discussions we had. As you can see, some of the major focuses that are identified in the study and were of interest to the subcommittee included, number one, of course, the impact that would be created by very significant turnpike improvements by way of the widening and the relocation of the interchange, created a very significant change in the configuration in that area of the community, and also generated opportunities and the likelihood, of course, of additional traffic flow within that area. The whole notion of being a major turnpike interchange and how we could make best use and piggyback upon that, being such a visible and prominent area of our community. We have a very prosperous hospitality industry here in East Windsor, so certainly another area was to see how we could support and grow that hospitality industry in terms of hotels and restaurants in the area of the Turnpike study. And additionally, the ordinances in our community are very historical. There's not a lot about East Windsor that's historical, but I think it's fair to say our zoning ordinances are historical. They go way back, and they haven't. They were due for a really good examination to determine how more flexibility and appropriate uses might be accommodated in the town. And as I indicated at the beginning, I think it's fair to say that the overall goal of the township in undertaking the study was to determine how we could best position East Windsor Township to take advantage of the improvements and build upon those particular components to best position East Windsor to attract new, high-quality, high-value commercial development to that area of the township and add overall to the